Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It appears our mics are still working, so that's good.
Nice. Oh, thank you, Judson Football. Got a nice retweet from them.
Sweet. We'll take it. Now babbling live on the air before the show starts. Max and Greg.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, I guess it's noon. We should probably do a show.
If you insist.
I do. I do insist. Yes, y'all! It is DCTF Live for Tuesday. Going up on Tuesday. Let's see. It is December 8th, 2015. My name is Greg Tepper, managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. It is episode number 36, which is the John Edwards episode, the C.J. Wilson episode, the Joe Nathan episode. Going up on a Tuesday. My name's Greg. His name is Max Thompson. Hey, Max.
What happens when we get to like 101 and there are no Rangers numbers left to be had?
I'll figure it out when we get there. Oh, you know what? No. Silly me. 36. It's the Bobby Witt episode.
Okay.
Bobby Witt. Man, that guy was awesome. Steve Alboni, Mickey Callaway. A lot of options at 36. Thank you for tuning in. We are here. This is DCTF Live. We are here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. I'm Greg. That's Max. We talk football in the state of Texas.
Sometimes.
Other sundry.
When we're done talking about other stupid things.
And other sundry topics across the Lone Star State. Did you see the announcement the Big 12 made?
Yes, just now.
About how, if you haven't seen, the Big 12 is now mandating that all of its member schools play at least one Power 5 conference team in non-conference, which is good, I think. I think it's, the Big 12 is now struggling to make it into the college football playoff. They got snubbed last year. I think that they feel that this is going to up their profile, so I think it's a right move.
Or, novel concept, add 2 more teams, be the Big 12, add a championship game, and yeah. Hashtag H-Town to the Big 12.
You are really on board that thing. So we are here on a Tuesday. We're talking football. Tuesday's always the weird day of the week for me, okay? Because we are still at least 2 days away from football. In this case, we are 3 days away from football. This is the slog, It's a slog.
It's a little bit of a slog.
But we do have a fun topic for today. So I went through. There are now 44 teams left in the Texas high school football playoffs.
That's true.
44. We will crown 2 champions on Saturday in Abilene, the 6-man state championship games, Class 1A. But then there are 20 semifinals across the state this week. And so there are 44 teams. And I thought, it would be fun, Max.
What would be fun, Greg?
If we went back and we looked at how wrong we were in the magazine. So if you didn't know, Dave Campbell's Texas Football is a magazine. And we come out every... the big summer edition comes out every June-ish. Yeah. And it's chock full of rankings.
I can claim no fault in this, by the way.
You
I was
weren't
not
here.
involved in this summer magazine,
You weren't here.
So it's not on me.
So I went through and I started looking at where the teams that are left were ranked in the preseason. And here's the good news, okay? Of the 44 teams that are left, only 4 were unranked.
Ooh.
Not bad, right?
Not bad.
4 out of 44.
Sure.
And 2 of them were in 5A. We'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
But we thought we'd take a look at the teams that are left that we were the quote-unquote most wrong about. The teams that we had the lowest ranked in the preseason. So we'll start with the 4 teams that were unranked.
Okay.
2 of them are in 5A. Cedar Park Vista Ridge. I think we had an idea that they were going to be pretty good, but we had them picked 4th in their own district in 25-5A.
It's probably a little low in retrospect.
We had them behind Cedar Park. Don't feel bad about that.
No.
And we had them behind Vandegrift. It turns out they're about even with Vandegrift. The fact that they split that
easily can justify that ranking.
I think that, yes. I think that Cedar Park Vista Ridge. And then there's Frisco Lone Star as well. Started the year unranked. They have mowed into the 5A Division 2 state semifinals, taking on Lake Dallas. And it's been a breakout year for Lone Star. I think that when you have a young program, it's hard to get a handle on how good they're going to be, but turns out they're going to be pretty good when they have Jason Shelley. Down in 2A D1, we had Lovelady unranked. I can tell you that they were right on the outside of our rankings. No, that's not an excuse.
No.
But they did begin the year unranked, and here they are taking on Refugio in the 2A Division 1 state championship, or state semifinals, rather.
Yeah.
And then there is a team playing for a state championship this week that we had unranked. Follett.
Ooh.
In 1A Division 2, we had them unranked. Which, hey, swing and a miss. You win some, you lose some. We did have Richland Springs, the team that they are playing, ranked in that one. And then teams that we had ranked pretty low. Another one in 5A, Frisco Lone Stars regional semifinal bunkmate, Lake Dallas.
Okay. All right.
Lake Dallas, we had ranked 39th out of 40. We ranked the top 40 in 5A. We had them ranked 39th. Mansfield, in 6A, we had them ranked 31st. I mean, obviously they are one of at least the top 8 teams in Class 6A right now by playoff results.
For sure.
Austin Westlake, we had in the top 25, but just at number 25. I feel okay about that. I think that Westlake's maybe been better than we thought they would be, and that's good, but I think that we thought that they were going to be pretty good. Same thing goes.
I think it's difficult, too, to judge how Todd Dodge is going to do at this point in the 10 years. Sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes 3 years to get your plan in place. So I think they're a little ahead of schedule.
I think so. I think you're right. And here they are playing in a state semifinal. Also playing a state semifinal, Galena Park North Shore. 6A, they were number 22 in the preseason. I'll tell you, I know a lot of why that is. And that is because they haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs of late. Lately, their playoff runs have been a little bit... not suspect, but they haven't advanced as far as they've been used to doing. And so I think that this was in past years we've had them ranked in the top 10. We kind of held off on them this year. They will of course take on Converse Judson. We're going to talk to Coach Sean McAuliffe here in just a little bit at Converse Judson. Excited to talk to him. Then Mansfield Lake Ridge. We had them ranked in the top 20. They were number 19 in Class 5A, but they've obviously overachieved that, and are looking like a team that could knock off Aledo this coming week. And then in 3A, now these are, in the smaller school ranks, we only rank the top 20 because there are fewer teams in each division. So technically these could be considered even more egregious underratings than... Underrated. Number in 3A Division 2, we had Idalou number 17, and I have no idea how to justify that. That's just a flat-out whiff. That's a flat. We thought it was going to be a down year for Idalou. Guess what? It wasn't.
It wasn't.
That's just the bottom line of it. They've been great. We thought they wouldn't be as great. Waco La Vega, we had 4A Division 1. We had them number 15. I feel okay about that. I feel like they would say that they were a little underrated, but I think that they've overachieved that a little bit. If they knock off who are they playing this week? They knock out Carthage this week,
right.
then all bets are off.
For sure.
They would definitely say that number 15 was too low. And then rounding that out in 3A Division 1, number 15, Mathis is now playing for a regional semifinal as well. They'll take on Cameron Yeo.
I'm trying to look at this between the biggest disparity between the performance and the ranking.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go with Lake Ridge.
I would go with Lake Ridge.
Yeah.
I think that you've got a couple options there. I think Lake Ridge is an option. I think that Frisco Lone Star is certainly an option.
Yeah.
I mean, and remember, I would say that, of the two teams, it is more surprising that Lone Star is there because they had to go through Lancaster. They had to go through, I would say, a tougher region in 5A Division 2. Other than that,
Longview,
Mansfield,
they're a pushover.
Mansfield, I think Mansfield is they probably deserve to be higher than 31. And I'll tell you, next year with Candy Brooks coming back, don't get used to 31.
Yeah,
it's going to be
won't happen again.
maybe subtract 25 from that.
Right.
They're going to be very highly ranked next year. I would say that those are the teams that have probably overachieved. Maybe Waco La Vega, and maybe Idalou. I think those would be the teams that I would point to that have most overachieved their preseason rankings. So let us know who you think we swung and missed on in Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation. # DCTF Live. Let me take care of a little bit of business real quick.
All right. Fine. You insist.
Where'd you go? Okay, here it is. Sorry. Hey, Texas high school football fans, when you make your plans for the state championships, book with Houston Hyatt Regency, which is offering hotel rooms to fans for a discounted rate of $129 per night, and participating teams for $119 per night. Expect to be pampered at the finest contemporary hotel in downtown Houston as you get ready to dominate at NRG Stadium. Call 1-888-421-1442 when you're ready to book. That's 1-888-421-1442. And we'll see you December 17th through 20th in Houston. We're actually staying there, Max. Do you know that? We're staying at the Hyatt.
Are we at the point
Regency?
yet where we know what your room number is going to be so we can give it out to everyone?
It's number 69. That's
not what it is.
It's very childish.
That is not what it is.
It's very childish.
That is not what it is.
It's really funny though.
Obviously, it's 666.
It is, of course, the mark of the beast. So we are here every day, weekday at noon. I do want to tell you that we have announced the 10 finalists for the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year Award. The 10 finalists for the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year Award, which you can now vote on at texasfootball.com/MrTexasFootball. That's MR Texas Football. We announced our 10 finalists, and fan voting will comprise 10% of the votes. As far as we put up together our panel to figure out who's going to be Mr. Texas Football. Here are the 10 nominees: Mansfield running back Kennedy Brooks. Don't think you got a problem with that, right? Navasota wide receiver Trendavian Dixon. Stop me if you've got a problem with one of these guys. Mansfield Lake Ridge quarterback Jet Duffy. Seagraves running back Corey Kyle.
Yeah.
Spring Westfield defensive lineman Ed Oliver.
Ooh, yeah.
Bremont quarterback Rashad Paul.
He can play, man.
Katy running back Kyle Porter.
Yep.
Canadian quarterback Tanner Schaefer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cameron Yeo running back.
What is Schaefer now? 29-0 as a starter?
29-0. 29-0. Cameron Yeo running back Trayon Smith.
Yeah.
Any objections? I mean, I'm waiting to hear objections. And McAllen Memorial running back Trevor Spates.
You're only going to get who just committed to Stanford. You're only going to get objections for the guys you leave out.
I know.
It's a tough call.
I know. It was a tough call. It was not easy to narrow that down, but I think that we got the 10 players most worthy of being Mr. Texas Football. So go to texasfootball.com/MrTexasFootball. That's Mr. Texas Football. To vote for the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year Award presented by Wells Fargo. You can hop on and vote as much as you can. Get on there.
Sure.
Vote.
Yeah.
Vote. So, one of the teams that is hoping to move on to NRG Stadium next week, that is hoping to see us, our smiley faces, next weekend at NRG Stadium, is Converse Judson. The Rockets have been rolling. They are through to the 6A Division I state semifinals after winning Region 4. They're taking on Galena Park North Shore, and their coach, Sean McAuliffe, in his second year at the helm, has just done a remarkable job We were very excited to catch up with him a little bit earlier. This is recorded because he had some stuff to do during
weird,
the show.
A coach in the middle of a very deep playoff chase is busy.
I know, it was weird. But he took a lot of time to talk to us, so we're very excited to talk with him. So here was our interview with Coach Sean McAuliffe of Converse Judson on DCTF Live. We are so happy to be joined on the phone now by the head coach of the Converse Judson Rockets, is Sean McAuliffe. Coach Mac, thanks so much for hopping on with us, and how are things down in beautiful Converse?
Well, life is good. We're still playing football, and we've got a community that's pretty excited about us still having a chance to compete and chase, what has kind of become an expectation/dream, I guess, every single year around this place, and that's to have an opportunity to compete for state championships. And we're a week away, and hopefully we take care of some business this Saturday against an unbelievable football team, and we'll have a chance to play for the whole thing.
Yeah, and I imagine we talk so much about Texas high school football here, but and obviously every town has a lot of that passion, but it seems like the town of Converse, their mood is directly tied to how well the Rockets are playing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As a kid growing up here, it was tons of fun. Obviously, going to football games and watching all the great teams play, and then being fortunate enough to play on one that actually won a state championship. I think people in this area truly love football, and they love coming to games on Friday nights, and we're fortunate enough to play in a great facility, and the tradition kind of speaks for itself, I think as the Rockets go, so goes the rest of our school, and the community. The later and later we get a chance to play in December, the bigger the buzz, and it's an exciting time, and it's a lot of fun.
I want to look back to last week where you guys faced a unique challenge playing
Sure.
a district foe. It's Smithson Valley, a very good team, obviously very well coached, and a team you had already played once and beaten, pretty closely. What was your what changed from game one to game two against a team that was going to be ready to fight?
Yeah, first of all, you're exactly right. Anytime you get a chance to compete against a Coach Hill team, you know that they're going to be fundamentally sound, and they're not going to beat themselves, and they're going to add a wrinkle or two here and there that's going to be a little bit different from the first game. But really for us, we didn't look at it in the approach that it was Smithson Valley, and it's the district round two type thing. We looked at it that it was we were playing for a regional championship, and they happened to be the guys that were left standing on the other side, and that was the approach that we took. And I've got a great coaching staff that I'm fortunate enough to work with every day, and we've got kids that believe that they should be playing late into December, and are hungry to keep playing football. And things went our way last Saturday, and hopefully they'll go our way this coming Saturday.
You guys do come from one of the toughest districts in the state, undoubtedly. You've got another squad in Cibolo Steel, the only team to hand you a loss, playing for in a state semifinal on the other side. All four teams from 25-6A made it. For you, now that you are this deep in the playoffs, how much do you look back at that district play and say, yeah, that prepared us for now?
Well, going into the season, we knew that it was going to be it's a challenge, and I was telling the local media around here, it's the little SEC. I don't know if we ever truly identified a top and a bottom. Each and every week, you were going to play a team that was extremely well coached, and their kids were going to play hard. And, no doubt, I think our non-district leads into our district, and our district has kind of been the catalyst that has allowed us to continue to keep playing, because we've had some challenges along the way in the playoffs and things of that nature of getting everybody's best game, because it's a one-game season, and I think that's if you go back and you look at our district schedule, that's kind of the approach that it takes. Each and every week it becomes a one-game season. That's the most important game on our schedule, because the district itself is very, very competitive, and you need to try to win as many of them as you can. If you can't win all of them, because it's hard to get out.
We're talking with Sean McAuliffe, the head coach of the Converse Judson Rockets, here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, you're the driving force, really, in the most, though your offense has sometimes been great, sometimes struggled at times, albeit against great defenses, but it seems like your defense has really been the driving force behind your success and a big reason why you're playing for a spot at NRG Stadium this week.
Without a doubt, I would agree with that. There's the old cliche that defense wins championships, and this place has been known for playing great defense throughout the years. Under Coach Arnold and Coach Rutledge and Coach Rackley in his championship run years, and for me, I'm blessed. I've got a defensive coordinator, Ricky Mott, that I think's the best in the business. He's spent quite a few years at the college level. And our kids have bought into the mentality and the attitude and the effort at which we're going to play defense out here at Judson. And really, it's we haven't reinvented the wheel. We're pretty close to structurally to what we played in 1992 when I played here, type deal. And it all starts with the guys that get to go coach those kids every day. And like I said, I've got the best in the business, in my opinion, and Coach Mott and the rest of the guys on the staff on the defensive side of the ball have bought in hook, line, and sinker to our philosophy and how we're going to go about coaching these kids and get them to play with an exceptional effort and with great technique. And I think I'd like to say I had a hand in doing that. I just coached the defensive line, and it is true. As our guys go on that side of the ball, it tends to stimulate the other side of the ball a little bit, vice versa.
And of course, you do have a guy on the other side who's turned into a real special player. Just a sophomore, your quarterback, Julon Williams. Right. This is a kid we saw playing as a freshman, and we said, okay, this kid could be something special. From your perspective, right, having watched him week in, week out, what has been the difference between Julon last year and this year?
I think there's a confidence factor. Last year he was a pretty confident kid for being 14 years old, but I think at times, there's some processing that occurs, and he's very comfortable with our playbook, and that's a tribute to Rodney Williams, our offensive coordinator, who coaches the quarterbacks, and figuring out what Julon is comfortable doing and taking advantage of his athletic abilities and putting the kid in position to make plays. So I think there's two sides to the coin. Julon has matured. He's an AB honor roll kid. He's super bright in the books, and he's got a real high football IQ. You can tell him things once, and he usually gets it. And we're at a stage, or he's at a stage in his career now that he's starting to add suggestions and some things that he thinks might work. And he scored last week on a play that was designed to go to the left. And he said, "Coach, on Monday," he goes, "if I pull this to the right," he goes, "I'm going to score. I'm just telling you." And we're like, "Well, that's really not the read." And sure enough, I'll be darned, on Saturday we called the play, and it was designed to go to the left, and he pulls it, and he runs to the right, and he ends up scoring. And I think he's just a lot more comfortable in his role of being a quarterback and being a spread-oriented offense. You've got to have your bell cow has got to be your quarterback, because he's the one that makes the reads. He's got a couple checks that he makes, depending on how defenses line up. And as he goes, our offense typically goes.
We're talking with Sean McAuliffe, the head coach of the Converse Judson Rockets, here on DCTF Live. And Coach, you mentioned him a little bit earlier. You guys have a big challenge this week in the state semifinals against a Galena Park North Shore squad and a Galena Park North Shore program with maybe as much pedigree as you guys, and that's really saying something. Not asking you to give away your game plan here, but when you're watching North Shore on film, what are you seeing from the Mustangs?
Well, first of all, I hope the clock operator runs that clock really, really fast. to limit the number of times they get to touch the ball. No, Coach K and his staff have done a great job. North Shore is a proud program. They're on the east side there of Houston, and they've had a great deal of success with Coach Amon and those guys. And Coach K's been there, forever. So he's ingrained in it, kind of like I am out here at Judson. So that part of the game is pretty neat. But really what jumps out at you on the offensive side is their O-line is just so physical. They're sound in their schemes. They've got an endless supply, it looks like, of kids that will play running back. And they've got one that lines up as a receiver, and the next play he plays a quarterback, and the quarterback goes to a tight end spot. So they've done a great job of distributing the ball to some very, very talented kids. And, their quarterback looks like he's as big as our defensive end. They're explosive. And I think it starts with their O-line up front. Those guys do a great job of reestablishing the line of scrimmage. And, when you flip over to the defensive side of the ball, there's not a whole lot to it. They're going to play man, and those down four are going to punch, separate, get off blocks, and they all run to the football. And when they get there, they typically hit the ball really hard, and it's fun to watch them in the sense that you can tell that they really do the little things right at practices and coach the key things like running to the ball and proper angles and things of that nature. So I'm hoping that we drive the ball for, 11 minutes and 58 seconds, and we get into quarter two, and we can look into getting a break here or there. I don't know if we're ever going to truly stop them. Maybe slow them down enough and get a stop here or there. And, it's going to be a great game. And if you're a high school football fan in Houston, I would highly recommend going to watch it because those guys do it right, and they're exceptional and well-deserving of being where they're at right now.
It's going on at NRG Stadium, 5 p.m. Saturday. Should be a great one. And, Coach, one last question before we let you go. Sure. We talk so much about the pedigree and about the history behind this Judson program, and especially at the coaching level. Coach D.W. Rutledge, Coach Jim Rackley, luminaries, legends in the Texas high school football realm. For you, as an alum, as a guy who won a state title in 1992, how special is it for you to be coaching your alma mater with those names behind you into a state semifinal?
I tell people all the time, I'm a blessed guy. The good Lord's kind of looked out after me, and to have this opportunity to come back to my alma mater has been an amazing deal. And I'm blessed that I work with 13 other men that love our kids and believe in making them better people first. And I inherited something that has been special for a bunch of years. We still got the sign hanging up that says, "Do your best, don't sweat the rest, let the winning take care of itself." And it's the same sign that was there 20-something years ago. And, I haven't tried to reinvent the wheel or make fire any hotter. We're just trying to uphold a legacy of two of the best that will probably ever be in this, our profession. And it's, I don't have a whole lot of time to sit back and reflect because we're moving on and trying to win the next one. But it's a neat deal. I'll tell you where I get tickled a little bit is when you start to see those guys come in the back fence and come and watch us play and things of that nature. And we just hope that we're doing it with the same amount of class and effort and integrity that those guys were known for doing it with.
Well, Converse Judson will hope to add another storied chapter to their legacy. 5 p.m. Saturday at Houston's NRG Stadium when they take on Galena Park North Shore in the 6A Division I state semifinals. And the guy coaching over there will be Sean McAuliffe. Coach, thanks so much for hopping on with us. Congratulations on all your success so far, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Hey, I appreciate it. Not a problem. You guys take care.
And our thanks once again to Sean McAuliffe, the head coach of the Converse Judson Rockets, for joining us on DCTF Live. Easy to root for that guy.
Yeah, not hard.
Easy to root for that.
He's so lucky to be in that position after all those great coaches.
Sure.
It's got to be a thrill.
And that's why I wanted to ask him, and I know that ran long, probably longer than we had initially, probably longer than he wanted to spend on the phone with us, let's be honest.
But it was fun.
I wanted to ask him about that because there's not a lot of jobs in the state where you have to deal with those kind of expectations and that kind of legacy that you are carrying on, and he carries it very well, and it's obvious that the Judson fans love him, and that's great, and it's very cool to see a traditional power program in the position.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I think Texas high school football is better when those pedigreed programs are doing well, and you're seeing a ton of them now.
For
Allen,
sure.
Salina, Galena Park North Shore, Katy, Converse Judson,
the beasts are all out.
Yeah, I mean, they're all out there, and it's cool to see those big-time programs back doing what we expect them to do every year. That's fun for me. Yeah. And so I think that the sport is better as a result. So thanks so much to Sean McAuliffe for hopping on with us. I know that he's busy game planning for what will be a great game against Galena Park North Shore. It depends a lot on can they contain Micaiah Long, the quarterback for North Shore, because he's incredible. And I thought his line about wanting to just eat clock and make sure they just don't see the ball, get the clock operator to run the clock a little fast would be key for them, because that's going to be
pretty good.
Really, it's going to be a great game there. If you're anywhere near NRG Stadium in Houston, 5:00 Saturday, get to there and watch that game. Should be great, and you will see one of those teams play there the next week.
Yep.
1 week from that day, you'll see them play there. So thanks so much to Coach Sean McAuliffe, and thank you for joining us, spending part of your day with us, either live on DCTF Live, TexasFootball.com/live, or on the podcast, search DCTF Live on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. I will tease this. Tomorrow on DCTF Live, we will have the new head coach of the North Texas Mean Green, Seth Luttrell, will be joining us. Should be fun to talk to the new head Mean Green.
Mean Green.
Screaming Eagle.
Screaming Eagle. I don't know. We'll work on
Thanks.
that. We'll have it ready by the time he comes on.
Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy, and we will see you tomorrow on DCTF Live.